So I was scrolling through my YouTube feed, as one does, when I saw this wonderful video. This creator challenged themselves to finish their whole VTuber model in 1 week. So, of course, with hardly any digital art experience under my belt, my Delulu was like, maybe I should do that too. But to be exact, I didn't think I was doing this all in 1 week at first. And quick disclaimer, this is just a story of my experience and not a tutorial. So for some backstory. I haven't really done any drawing in the past couple of years. I had done more drawing as a kid, but it had kind of fallen to the wayside in my transition into corporate slave. I had gotten some aspirational drawing tablets, since every once in a while I think about how much I enjoyed drawing when I was younger, before I started to doom scroll my way out of capitalism. But for both of those aspirational drawing tablets, they just stopped working after years of neglect. To be honest, I was kind of thinking that my art days were behind me. In more recent months, I had become unemployed and a NEET. And you know what NEETs have? That's right, they have time and energy for hobbies they used to like. I had kidnapped my sister's drawing tablet because I was getting inspired by watching art videos on YouTube. It rekindled that dying spark within my cold corporate heart. And as usual, I was getting a little bit overwhelmed about what drawing apps to use and the microtransactions and all the programs and what tools are in each app. And that was when Krita touched my life. I was very impressed after learning that Krita does everything from drawing to animations as a free and open source software. I love FOSS, and I was interested in drawing and animation. So I watched a bunch of videos and I animated my first ball bounce. I was feeling inspired, feeling confident, and full of Delulu. I was like, I have all the tools I need to make a VTuber. Let's try it out. After deciding to make a VTuber model, I had to grapple with my digital art skills. You could say I was starting pretty much at zero in terms of knowledge of colors, layers, and tools. So my digital art skills were definitely the limiting factor in this heist. But my Delulu makes me think that I can do anything, despite having no previous experience in that craft. The first 2 days, I roughly designed the model. I knew I wanted to make a chibi because they are cute, and also they're supposed to be more beginner friendly. I watched so many art tutorials, like how to do line art, how to do shading and coloring, and I just imagined this would go so much faster for someone who has more digital art experience. And of course, I also watched videos on how to make a VTuber. My very rough understanding is that you draw it, you separate the parts, and you rig it. That's like only 3 steps, right? Oh, poor misguided past me. I kept working on drawing the model and separating the parts. By the end of day 5, I had finally finished separating everything. This was the first time I had ever seen so many layers in my life. I was doing so well on time that I thought back to Hanakyu's video where she tries to do everything in 1 week, and I thought, that's a good challenge to try. Honestly, I wasn't doing very well on time. I had started on a Tuesday, so that kind of threw off my time perception. If I had thought about this a little bit harder, then I would have realized that I had spent 5 days on the art and cutting, which means that I only have 2 days left to learn how to rig and rig everything if I was to finish my whole model in a week. And I had lost half a day to some life stuff between my keyboard breaking, deep cleaning my cats' litter boxes, and watching Princess Mononoke in theaters with some friends. I was getting nervous. Luckily, I had my good friend Insomnia at my back, so I could keep my nose at the grindstone into the wee hours of the night. finally moved all of my art to the program for rigging the VTuber, Live 2D. If I had to describe how I was feeling, it's like you suddenly found out about an SAT test that you were scheduled for, but your mom forgot to tell you about until only 2 days before, so you're suddenly cramming with only desperation to keep you going. I still get these kinds of nightmares sometimes. I was following along various tutorials, but I was very new to the program, and there were a lot of times when I messed up something and had to back up several steps to redo them. I learned that warp deformers are like these evil folders that kind of mush things into the right shapes. And you know what they say, focus on yourself and stay centered, in the middle of the canvas. I pushed my body to the limit, watched tutorials on 5 times speed. Yes, I had to rewatch it at 2 times speed because that was way too fast. And locked my hungry cats out of my room to try to meet this completely arbitrary deadline. No cats were harmed in the making of this video. At one point, Live 2D was getting so laggy, I was trying to save more to protect my hard work. And each save was taking multiple minutes that I could not afford to lose. After some desperate googling, it turns out that all the tutorials use so many warp deformers because your computer will lag like crazy if you don't. I was delirious, my head hurt from dehydration, and I missed my Genshin, Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves dailies, which I had somehow been keeping up for all the other days of this challenge. But I was able to finish on time, kind of. I finished at 3 in the morning on the 8th day. So really, it's like 7.125 days, which when you round is 7 days. So I'm gonna count this as a successfully completed challenge. Don't try this at home, kids. My body was a bit wrecked afterwards. I might try to do a similar challenge in the future for learning animation and 3D modeling in Blender and OpenTunes, but for now I need to get some rest. I definitely still have room for improvement, and maybe eventually I'll work my way up to a full-size model. Shout out to the wonderful art community on YouTube that kept me inspired and learning throughout this challenge. It was pretty fun, even with the looming deadline. Let me know if you like this kind of stuff. I have other videos planned in the future too, so subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you and see you next time!